My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
PTN, you're doing the right thing.
On the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
PTN on your bumper.
I'm Tom McDonald. This is the Patriot Prayers Network. Check it out. Lots of good TV. Lots of cool people. Tune in. Keep it locked.
I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My Patriots the craziest. They ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip. The same mistake and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them. There's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem. Smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms. Fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave to the grave. United States, we love the country that they've been corrupting. Go woke and go broker if you ain't obeyed. My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you...
Welcome, you guys, to another Cowboys and Indians podcast. I know that intro is still not fixed. Believe it or not, I have been really busy, and along with Steve as well. But this past weekend, I attended Hetero Awesomeness Fest in Boise, Idaho, which admittedly didn't get the massive support that I expected. But, you know, this is something that I kind of learned a lot from, and kind of am looking forward to refocusing exactly how I need to how I want to inspire people in order to support events like this. Because for me personally, I find that the nuclear family is one of the most important and foundational components of this country. And it seems that there's a lot of apathy and complacency that has been plaguing our society for years, not just in supporting events like this, but allowing our politicians to get away with things, allowing our society and our children to be overweight, allowing these pharmaceutical companies to mandate injections in order to get fired, or allowing our politicians to have mandates that shut down your business. So complacency, apathy is all bad. Joining me today, of course, is my co-host Steve. How you doing today, Steve?
Good, man. That was a 3-minute intro, brother. That was actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm good, man. Actually, I'm doing a little bit better today. So I reached out to Tom McDonald probably about a week ago when I lost my job, and he actually reached out to the people at US Vets, and was going to connect me with people here in the Texas area, the Houston, Texas area. So we'll see. I got a few things popping off right now, so things are looking better.
Well, that's good to hear, man. Man, it sounds like I kind of need to lose my job and then reach out to Tom. See what
no, 0 out of 10, do not recommend. I'll give that 1-star Yelp review.
Yeah,
but,
and you guys, go ahead.
I was going to say, this could be like an absolute blessing in disguise, because where I worked previously, I wasn't really respected, and I tried to voice my concerns, and nothing ever happened. I had so many crucial conversations. And at the end of the day, I think this might be better for me in the long run. So,
no, it's great to hear. You guys, if you can, please share this stream. It's the only way we grow. It's the only way we get bigger. And obviously, if you enjoy our content, share it, like it, smash the like button. And believe it or not, you guys, this is not a visual effect. I actually have this farmer's tan. You can see I am half white and half native.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
We'll call you Two-Tone. Oh, that's your Indian name is Two-Tone. Oh, man, I just came up with that on the spot. I'm proud of myself for a little bit. Two-Tone.
Well, okay. As a little introduction for Mark Fitzpatrick, he is the owner of the Old State Saloon. He works, he owns the Old State Saloon. And last June, he had this event throughout the entire month. It was called Hetero Awesomeness. I really enjoyed the idea, or I like the idea of building something as opposed to just continuing to tweet against Pride Month and not actually doing anything. So Mark took it upon himself, received a ton of hatred, a lot of negative press last year, to the point where there were people saying that he was extremely hateful, and I mean the list would go on and on and on. Well, this year he had planned to go even bigger, because it was a success last year in many ways. There was a ton of support for this, and with Trump winning and with the Pride movement kind of slowing down,
right,
I personally believed that the support for this event was going to be massive. And I was hoping that sponsors and people alike would be willing to stick their neck out in support of something as foundational as the nuclear family, as celebrating the nuclear family, as celebrating marriage, as celebrating God's design in men and women.
Right.
And it didn't quite go as planned. There were still a lot of really good things that happened that we will go over. But during the event, we actually we faced a lot of challenges. Mark especially. I mean, just witnessing what he has gone through is, I mean, it is definitely something else. And to still see his positive, upbeat attitude,
yes,
even with all the slander coming his way, is amazing to hear. So I would like to go through the story and bring Mark up here. So Here we go. Mark, how are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I love having you on, and I personally, I loved the event, and I hope that we can somehow make this happen next year, because I know that there was a lot of expenses and a lot of sponsors that pulled out at the last minute due to threats and at
Really?
just there was a lot of threats. I mean, let's see. I know that the food was lacking in diversity because there were a lot of food trucks that backed out at the last minute due to threats.
Interesting.
This is true.
Yeah, all of this information. This is the first time I'm hearing of everything. So you're getting a general, like a legit and genuine reaction from everything that you say tonight.
Yeah. So the threats are accompanied with the most grotesque, disgusting, vile comments you can imagine. One of my sponsors today, and people are still like, right now, they're even gaining momentum. Just they're posting it in all their disgusting chat boards, and they do all these attacks and everything. And you have sponsors that are receiving, things that I don't even think I could say out loud. It's so disgusting what these people are saying, just like beyond sexual deviancy. And it's just commonplace. They lie and they call you names, and they do it in such a way that's so vile that people online who are normal, moral people and families, they tend to say, maybe I'll steer clear of that, because there's such vile hatred for it, even though it is a traditional family values festival. Maybe I'll just pass on that and not go support it because I don't want to deal with the hatred. We had people on Reddit were saying they're going to photo everybody going in and out and dox people. And I got partially doxed today, which is a kind of a veiled threat type of situation. It's just these people are disgusting, and they are relentless and go after people with their disgusting attitude. And a lot of people get scared and make a decision to not be involved, whether it's, to show up to the fest, but also to sponsor. They don't want their name out there so that they get attacked. And they, just decide to not be involved, which I get it. Is it worth it? They say, is it worth this fight? And apparently not for everybody. But if everybody in unison just said, you guys are done, like we're totally ignoring you, and we're going to fire back at you. You come at us with tens, we'll come at you with hundreds. You come at us with hundreds, we'll come at you with 10,000s.
Right.
And that's what it should be, because we way outnumber them, because the majority of the country doesn't want to threaten people with nasty, disgusting messages and photos and things like that. And they just want to be good, normal, moral people.
Right. Now, this is the second year of Hetero Awesomeness month, or the get together, correct?
The month, yeah, it's a month long. Heterosexual Awesomeness Month is at Old State Saloon, inside the saloon, and it is a month long. We have different deals all month, and just kind of the theme throughout the month of celebrating God's design for sexuality and the family, which is a wonderful design for a man and a woman and the way they were created to procreate and for enjoyment. And that is a great gift from God. And everything else is a perversion of that creation and gift. But our focus was just to be on celebrating what God's design is.
Right. Has there been an escalation of the threats versus from the first year to the second?
No, it's similar. It's interesting because the local news stations, there was one lady who sort of did one, and I appreciate her for doing that on Idaho News 6, Jessica. But she kind of did something ahead of time, letting people know that it was happening. And then she also in the same story, gave some press to the Balcony Club they're doing a play to mock me and mock the event. But other than that, there's like no press beforehand, right? So there's like nobody local is saying, hey, this event's happening. It's a free event. Go downtown, check it out, celebrate traditional family values. That didn't happen for the most part. And then all of a sudden the event's over and people are spinning a bunch of lies and nonsense about it. And the local news station suddenly want interviews and put out everything online and all that stuff. So it's just typical. There's a left, slant to it. Other than, like I said, I do appreciate the lady who came out today from Idaho News 6.
You know what I figured out on the drive home? Because I was racking my brain as to why, what would not inspire people to show up to this? Why didn't we have the amount of support? And the best way that I've figured out how to describe this is that we're trying to get people hyped up about oil changes. Okay. Now hear me out here. Okay. It's a little redneck, but you're going to have to deal with that. All right. One of the best things that you can do to keep your car running is change the oil. It lubricates the engine. It keeps it a high functioning machine. If you don't change the oil, it congeals, gunk builds up, you get metal shavings everywhere, and then eventually the engine will catastrophically fail. Well, what we're trying to sell to people is the idea that the nuclear family, the thing that most people in our society has taken for granted. We've told them that it's just going to, the nuclear family is just going to happen and kids are going to make it no matter what. Although statistically, without two stable parents, statistically, the kids do not do as well. And in our society, the abortions are rampant. Divorce rates are extremely high. They've bastardized the idea of marriage, taking it from one man and one woman under God in a covenant to two people in love. And when we dismiss the idea of something as foundational and important as the nuclear family or marriage, it's similar to just running your car on the same oil for 100,000 miles. You're not going to make it. Everything will start to fall apart around it. The effects are not immediate. They don't happen right away. Society will slowly bog down, similar to what your engine will. It will slowly but surely start bogging down and then eventually blow up in your face. And I feel like we're almost to the point where it's blown up in our face because we've normalized the decline of marriage and we've normalized the idea that, every marriage is equal, and it's not. Marriage is a specific religious institution that is the foundation of building a nation and a thriving nation, having a mom and a dad create more life. And so I was thinking man, I feel like I have to be able to inspire people to get excited about oil changes, about something so mundane, but in reality, it's one of the most important things that you can do. What do you think about that, Mark?
Agreed. I think that's part of the situation. I think also the weather, that's just a factor, right? So normally 85 degrees is what was expected, and we got 40 something with rain. That was Friday, and then Saturday was a little bit warmer with no rain but breezy and kind of pretty cold also on Saturday. So that could have been a major reason why people stayed home. The other thing was a big factor in society and the culture wars is the church and the church's involvement. And of course, the church was totally silent on this issue, unwilling to even reach out and chat and ask about the event and if they should support it. Zero. And so they're absent as they usually are in the culture wars, and not wanting to go and support a fest in downtown Boise, which is Gayland. Okay. Essentially, the mayor of Boise has declared Boise as being Gayland by raising the Pride Progress flag in violation of the law at start. Now she figured out a way around it. But to her, this place is Gayland. And, you know, we have churches that they know there's going to be an event where we're actually saying a prayer to the actual creator, the God, and to Jesus Christ, giving them glory and thanking them for the blessings of heterosexual awesomeness and this weekend where we can celebrate family values, and the churches are just completely absent from supporting it.
I think this, like the hetero awesomeness month, is kind of a segment into what the conservative movement has become. I truly believe that conservatives are lazy, and this you can tell this by their actions. And there are tons of grassroots movements across this country, but a lot of people, what I've found, have become so comfortable with complaining about it online that they don't want to take that extra step and get out and actually do something to a cause that they support. The left, I mean, they get paid by Soros money, so that's why they're out there. But for us, it's more of a fundamental belief or a core belief. And like Maurice was saying, it's really difficult to entice somebody or to get somebody fired up to go do an oil change or get an inspection sticker. But at the end of the day, it's not about the excitement. It's about what you believe in and what are you willing to risk or sacrifice or put forth the effort to make a movement happen.
Yeah, so there's definitely some of that, but it's multi-factor. So you got the weather, you got the church being involved, you have that, and then money. You said money, right? I mean, that's a big deal, and there's like zero money for this event, and partly because when Pride has an event and they're losing this, and that's why we do want to definitely spend some time talking about the fact that the kickoff Pride event for Boise this year got canceled for lack of interest, lack of whatever.
Well, that's good.
Ticket sales, which is great. But we didn't have sponsors come in that there's sponsors out there that have been sponsoring Target, Target, Albertsons, Fred Meyer, Micron, all these places have been sponsoring, Boise Pride events big time, writing huge checks for these events. And they have these stages that are just giant, and they must have cost, $100,000 just for the stage equipment and everything for the weekend. And yeah, so it's like that stuff is not happening, and it's not happening for a couple reasons. First of all, because those places are just woke and they won't even consider responding to us when we reach out and ask them to consider sponsoring a traditional family values fest. But the other reason is because sponsors that were considering sponsoring it were getting attacked in that vicious way by the disgusting representatives of the Pride movement.
And I mean, I think people underestimate the amount of vitriol that you actually receive. I mean, I was with you for the majority of the weekend, Mark, and I can tell you, I saw him answer the phone many times and was able to hear at points what these people were saying, and it is disgusting. It is, I mean, I know that there was a point where you were cleaning up at one point and there was a protester of some kind, or just, ideologically opposed activist walking by and started once again spewing this vile hatred towards you. They don't even know you, but they recognize your face and they just start yelling these insults with children around. I mean, they don't care about any kind of, what kind of damage that can do to a child. Just being just being near, they're targeting you just for existing at that time. And then, they see you as an enemy. So they don't care that kids are around. They're just spewing this vile hatred. And this has been a common theme throughout the entirety of throwing on this event or trying to get sponsors to come out, or when people come out in support of it, they get attacked as well. So it's almost like you're told that you're supposed to go build your own, if you don't like it, go build your own. Well, Mark out here has been building something that is in support of something really good. And they do everything in their power to actually destroy it, which is really fascinating to me because they claim to be the victims of all of this ideological hatred from their being persecuted from the laws. There's a trans genocide taking place and all this. But when anybody tries to celebrate the traditional family or doesn't include them in a celebration, like there were gay people there. And I know that Scott Pressler was tagged in a post and he responded, and I actually received some crap for that. So like simultaneously, I'm a homophobe for being part of this event, but then I'm also, not living up to my beliefs because I'm friends with, Scott Pressler. And so they'll just attack you for anything. And they continue to be they continue to pretend to be the victims, but then will act as if they are the fascistic regime clamping down when you try to build your own event.
Indeed. Is that a rainbow shirt you're wearing, bro?
Oh yes. Hey, this is I've been looking forward to getting to this shirt for a long time, by the way. So I saw Mark wearing it a while ago and I had to get one. So this is a Copyright God shirt. You can see down here it says Hetero Awesomeness. I believe it's still available. You can buy it on the website and help support this because the rainbow has been subverted. It has been perverted, hijacked. The rainbow was God's promise to man that he will never flood the earth again. And it is God's image. That's why the pride flag, when they perverted it, it only has 6 colors. And they try and use it basically as a slap in the face to Christians and to God himself. I fully believe that the trans movement is anti-God. And I mean, it's almost explicitly stated in saying that, God put me in the wrong body when my spirit, my soul is really a woman when you are born a male. So it is, the entire movement at its foundation is anti-God from the beginning. And then everything they do just tends to be an attack directly towards Christians.
Indeed.
Second, indeed.
Hey, where do you go to buy this shirt?
So yeah, you can get the full shirt or the tank top at oldstatesaloon.com or heteroawesome.org. Either one, that one's on. But yeah, it's what everything they do is fraudulent and fake and bogus, and that's because Satan can't create, kind of like you're saying. Yeah, so that's what we had to deal with, and it's just vicious and nasty.
It's part of it. It is, there's a lot you had to deal with, but yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, like, basically I'll try to explain this in words without saying grotesque things, but they'll send things to people that are considering being a sponsor that are basically like putting Jesus in these like pornographic things and stuff like that, or they'll do things where, like, one guy today sent me something where somebody was saying that they're going to urinate in his mouth, So, I mean, this is the level of perverseness that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like a jeweler who lives nearby and has a jewelry store and simply wanted to sponsor a family values fest. So the level of moral bankruptcy and degeneracy is just, it's off the charts, but it's not like few and far between. It's
all of them.
It's rampant. It's
Absolutely.
It's rampant, disgusting behavior from these people. And typically death wishes are very, very common. And that are my building burns down and all those things.
Yeah.
And they threatened to burn down the event as well. They were saying that there was a lot of capable armed men there, ready to stand against any kind of social tyranny that we would potentially face. And I mean, in the face of all this, think about this, you guys. In the face of all these threats, and with the struggle of lacking sponsorship, Mark still threw this event. And this is one of the reasons why I truly respect you, Mark, is because it almost everything that was thrown at you, you still did this event because you believe in this cause. You believe in the oil changes our society needs, right? And
yeah, and we did it, at a really high production value, and we provided what we said we were, and there was wonderful food and beverage, and we sold beers for $5, where most festivals they'll be $10 or $12 for a beer. It was meant to be a place where families could come and enjoy themselves. There were lots of kids that were playing all over the bounce houses that were having a blast. We had about 700. The estimate from the security guy was 700 people in, through the 2 days. I think we were open too many hours. I think we should have condensed it. And, again, nice weather would have been amazing.
Kind of helped out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Rain and 40s is not good.
Especially for Idahoans,
Yeah.
You guys aren't used to that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. I was dancing on the way over. I was really excited. I just brought the rain. I don't know what to tell you.
You did a rain dance. Don't even lie.
So now, the day after this event, we have people sending a clip around everywhere of Dave Riley's comment on a podcast. Are we talking about this?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be fun to talk about because this shows you exactly how the media works. Is one, they will ignore you and then root for you to fail, and they will. It's okay. So this wasn't the media themselves, but they work in congruence with the media because they know how to entice them. Right? There was a protester who snuck up on stage and started singing a song which was abhorrent. Mark stopped it and even hit some guy in his knuckles with his face because I
don't think I really did. Somebody really hit me in the face? I didn't feel that.
Well, he swung at you. I know that.
Oh.
Well, they usually have noodle arms anyway, so you probably didn't feel it.
No, this was it was funny because we'll get to what happened. Go ahead.
Yeah, but so they infiltrated and they actually used this in the way that they tried to slander you, saying that there was a pro-transgender song sung on stage, when in reality it was somebody who snuck on stage who basically was able to get around the security, and he was stopped by you, which is, I mean, I'm glad you caught it. I'm glad you stopped it, but it's just the way that they attack, and so they try to label the entire event as a failure because somebody was able to try and ruin it, and for some reason they can kind of get around that idea that they're rooting for destruction and chaos as opposed to just letting it play out. A lot of the times, like with the pride parades or with trans story time, I forget what it's called, pride story time, where the transgender guys will read the books to kids in libraries.
It's called disgusting.
Yeah, but a lot of the times what we'll see with conservatives is they will complain about it afterwards, but generally speaking, there's no protest there. They don't, like, they don't get protested as they're walking in or as they're coming out. They don't get infiltrated to try and shut it down. Although I would advocate that we probably need some more of that now.
Probably.
But and then to kick it all, to just put the cherry on top. I forget whose podcast it was. Do you know whose podcast it was? Dave Riley?
Backlash. But can I say something about this guy that got on stage?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so
provide some context.
So he lied to our staff, saying that he was going to go on and sing, music that jived with the message and everything else, and somehow tricked them, and ended up being scheduled to go there on stage. And so he gets up on stage, puts on a Army, I think, Special Forces hat, says something about that, and then gets into this song, and it's a transsexual song. And so he's up there lying, wearing part of an Army uniform, dishonoring our country, dishonoring the Army, and then singing a pathetic and disgusting song that perfectly exemplifies what the Pride movement is about. Lying to get on stage, because that's what they do, is they lie and deceive.
Yeah.
And then pushing an agenda on children for transsexualism, which is just about as wicked as you can get, because that means they're pushing somebody not to live in a world of lies and deception, and not the way God created them to be. And then to start taking drugs that they're going to have to now have drugs for the rest of their life from Big Pharma, and then eventually pushing them to an operation where they chop off their genitalia and start pretending to be the opposite of what they are for the rest of their lives. And then when you go through that and you figure out that that's fake at some point, which pretty much everyone does, that's why their suicide rates are so high, because they can't go back. You can never fix that problem. It's not reversible. And so they try to blame that on people who are not accepting them, which is the most ridiculous thing. The reality is that people have a conscience, and that they're given, and they realize, this is not who I am. I believed lies because I was deceived to think people affirming me were loving me, when in reality they were deceiving them. Yes. And so they committed to this lifestyle of fakeness, and later on they end up getting super depressed for it, and that's why the suicide rate is high. So this whole thing is just a perfect example of the Pride community being the Pride community, lying, deceiving, and being disgusting people who lead children down a horrible path, and there's a millstone ready to be tied around their neck.
Yeah, I feel like if these demons can't get you through abortion, they will transition you to have you unalive yourself later on from depression. And that's the most disgusting part. There are so many physicians and psychologists and psychiatrists that are actually going along with this. So there may be some, in my opinion, I think there's a lot of money that's being placed on the backside to get these trends building. But anyways, that guy that stood up on stage, he was that beret is for the U.S. Army Rangers, and I've never seen a Ranger that small in my life. So
yeah,
well, so
people are trying to figure out if he's real or not, if that's real.
I will say as well that he didn't have that jacket and beret on when he went up on stage.
Oh, okay.
One of his protester buddies who was recording this tossed a bag to him, and right before he started to sing, he threw the jacket on and the beret on. So he was in disguise till he got on stage, and then was tossed these clothes. So
it's people,
it's one of those things. It's like at an event like this, they're bragging in a way that they were able to deceive and destroy, right? As opposed to doing anything productive in their lives. The way that they try to slander you is by infiltrating, deceiving, and trying to destroy. And then they're celebrating it as if it's a win. And there's nothing good from that. They never, for some reason, they don't reflect on themselves and think, am I the bad guy here because I'm singing about these perverse things at a family event with children present, by the way, which is why I'm so glad that Mark ran up there immediately as soon as he heard the lyrics and was like, wait a minute.
This ain't it.
Yeah, this is not it. So Mark ran over there, ripped the microphone away from the guy, and he didn't handle this in a way that the media would have wanted Mark to tackle him and injure him, because then they would have had a really good story.
Definitely.
Right? Mark didn't do that. Mark pulled the microphone away and then he kicked him out of the event, which, it is what it is. I personally think that somebody like that should be handled with a little bit. I mean, I think Trump said it at one of his protests. Trump said it at one of his rallies when they were kicking a guy out, and he was like, yeah, maybe just give, back in the day, he would have gotten a little extra lick on the side, as he was getting tossed out. But no, Mark handled it really well.
Yeah.
And although it was a little confusing to the crowd because he had an altercation.
Yeah, this guy jumps up because he's not paying attention and doesn't understand what's going on with the lyrics, I don't think. Well, and I know, yeah, he didn't. I talked to him later. And so he just saw a guy, which he had never met me before, a guy grabbing the microphone away from a performer. So he goes up and to stop me from doing something wrong to the performer because he doesn't realize the performer is actually the bad guy.
Oh,
the bad guy in this case.
Gotcha.
So he kind of grabbed me. I think he just grabbed my shoulders and shirt and stuff. I don't remember getting punched but whatever. I don't know. So anyways, that's what happened. We threw them both out, and then eventually that guy explained himself and we shook hands, and I was glad to have him come back in because he's actually on our side. So the little scuffle was just two men, me and this other guy, doing the right thing, me stopping the ridiculous music from being sung and him stopping somebody that he thought was stopping something that was good. So
probably a very confusing 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah, they caused chaos. That's all it is. They were able to cause some chaos.
Luckily there wasn't like more of a altercation behind it because somebody would have taken that and been like, look what these hetero awesomeness dudes are doing, and just turn it against you in a propaganda style. They'll take those certain clips and use them against you.
They're beating up the trannies, is what they would have said. But so this is right after Mark had pulled the microphone down and stopped the performance. This guy, there was a little bit of an altercation there, but yeah, it looks like he swung. So Mark is a guy, he was in the black vest here, but it looks like he swung at you. But you took it like a champ, nothing.
Do it again. Let me see that.
Put in slow-mo.
Right there. Oh, so maybe it's like a push to the face.
I think it was more like a push to the upper chest area or something like that. I don't remember yeah. Well, anyways, if he punched me, it was really weak.
Oh yeah. No. Okay. So you might be right. That might have been a push to the chest.
Yeah.
You can't really see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. That makes more sense. But yeah, it was just one of those things where the guy in the crowd was trying to do the right thing, and Mark was doing the right thing by stopping, and then the left will try to gloat about this, but in all reality, I mean, actions will speak louder than words. And in this, moving on to the next way that they've tried to deceive.
I like to compare that to like what you have to be careful with when you carry, like people in Idaho carry guns, right?
Yeah.
So when you jump up to do something in Idaho with a gun and you're doing something, or let's say you take somebody down or whatever, and the police arrive, you're going to look like the bad guy. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful that they don't run up and punch you or shoot you, right? Because you're going to have a gun in your hand. That's kind of like what happened here. So this guy, he was doing the right thing, like the police officers would do. You can accidentally shoot the person that was doing the heroic thing, right?
Yeah, it's when guns are involved too. You have to be extra careful because that could escalate very, very quickly. Depending on the entire scene, and someone wants to brandish a gun, then that's when it gets really bad. So I'm thankful you guys were able to take this down or to make it less violent, I guess, for lack of better terms.
Oh yeah, I just the gun thing is an analogy. There was no guns brought out, but yeah.
Inside of the festival grounds, or were you guys able to hold?
Well, plenty of people had guns. Yeah, open carry, concealed. Yeah, that's great. That's the way it should be. That's the way Old State Saloon is. That's why we never have any problems at Old State Saloon, is because everybody has a gun on them.
Yeah, and I think that's actually what drove away a lot of the protesters themselves. Is they're scared of real confrontation. They're scared of confronting men who stand their ground against them, right? They have these, like in Seattle and Portland, they have these like mock fights with the police, which will end in violence quite often actually. But for the most part, they're just kind of role playing because they know that the police aren't just going to outright shoot them. They know that they'll get shot with like the non-lethal rounds, and they'll get some tear gas thrown at them. But in a lot of ways, they're just role playing war, and where nobody's really going to get hurt. And most of the time you're going to get a slap on the wrist if you get arrested, but they just want to participate in this role play thing. But at an event like this, where if they were to confront us, it would be a different level of confrontation, right? Like if they started throwing rocks and bricks, there's a different kind of issue that would come up. And men like Mark and myself and many, many other people there are not willing to put up with that. And we basically planted our foot in the ground and said, we're going to do this regardless. You're not going to stop it. You can lie and deceive and try and infiltrate and get your way in off base and deceive our good faith that we have many performers there. Mark, I can't believe that you had me as a speaker and Sergio painting on the side with you being such a blatant racist. I don't know how you were able to put up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the speech ready, Maurice, or no?
Oh, I'm not playing the speech. I haven't even clipped it yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't had time to, man. I got home.
I got you.
I got home yesterday. I helped put my kids to bed. And then when I woke up, I went to work. And then when I got back home from work, I set up the stream. So
I do remember seeing you post a video of, I think you were like there at the wrong protest and some pro-Palestinian people behind you.
I forgot about that. Yeah, there was a couple people that decided to tell us that we need a free Palestine, and I just let them know that we don't have Palestine. We don't have them. So
Palestine isn't real. So anyway.
Yeah, it was odd. I don't know who they were talking about, but yeah, they just came there and started yelling at us.
That would have been funny, like some pro-Ukrainians would have came over, pro-Ukraine or whatever. Slava Ukraine. Remember when they used to say that? Oh my God. Anyways.
Anti-Commie says, hi, Mark. She reshared the stream and everything, so.
Like 4 or 5 times. She's awesome.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm trying to find that clip. I can't find it.
Hi, Anti-Commie.
I don't know where it's at.
Of what? Of Riley?
Yeah. Does he have it on his page?
Who posted that? Let's see. Probably.
It's only a couple second clip. It's not that long. So.
Yeah, I have it here. Here we go.
Okay.
Anti-Commie brings up a really good point. I love when gay people protest for Arab countries. If these people would actually go to the streets of Baghdad or anywheres and have a pride march, they would be thrown off of roofs over there. I promise you. It's so crazy.
So that first link I just typed you.
Okay. Pulling it up right now. Sorry, you guys. My production value is a little behind the times. I will eventually get somebody behind the scenes to run this, but it is what it is. So if you look at this clip, okay, there's a lot of background noise going on. They have the microphone set up in a brilliant way, which cuts out all the background noise, and then it basically only picks up their mics. So that's why 2 2 out of the 4 here have headsets on. It's so they can hear themselves. They can hear the podcast playing back to them. Mark does not have headphones on. It's an important part of the context here, okay?
There aren't any black people.
Oh, what? It's just right off the bat?
Yeah, and then it goes back.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it'll play the context afterwards.
Yeah.
Got it.
There aren't any black people here. There aren't any black people here.
But Boise, it's a really nice place. It's
For an
beautiful.
American city,
It's top-notch
is.
American city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are still very good bars around, great food. There's the Basque District. Again, it's clean.
There aren't any black people here.
And tons of Mormons.
There aren't.
That's it. That's what they're trying to accuse you of being a racist for.
It's outrageous.
Wow.
I mean, the fact
That's
that
the entire thing.
so now, okay. Now, by the way, they're not in front of any crowd. They're not. They're not positioned there to be any kind of like show or anything. They're just way off in the corner on their own, broadcasting for their podcast, and so nobody can hear them except people who are opting into their podcast. I had no idea what he was going to be talking about or saying. It's just his podcast. So you do, you can, like, anybody can be on their phone actually broadcasting on a podcast from anywhere inside there. And I have no control over what they say, nor am I going to apologize for what somebody says on their phone or whatever on any kind of live thing, wherever, so it's absolutely just ridiculous. And what's even more ridiculous is the fact that I'm having this Channel 7 KTVB come out tomorrow to now interview me about this when they never wanted to mention the fact that we're having this free fest to begin with. And instead, they put out an article, which I'm going to pull that up, but they pull out an article or publish an article, an op-ed about 2 weeks ago, begging people to donate to Pride so their Pride events can happen.
But that's so disgraceful. And not only that, I've received, I was tagged in a whole bunch of posts today asking for me to condemn him for the Dave Riley for saying that, basically. And I was like, I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to condemn him. Like, if I log on to a video game and you turn voice chat on, you'll hear worse in the first 10 minutes you play from 14-year-olds. Yeah, I'm not going to get insulted based on what he's saying to his audience when he wasn't a featured speaker at the event. He wasn't saying this to the crowd. It was literally him on his own podcast saying it to his audience, and it was a joke. And it was like, I can't understand how either you have to be like a self-taught victim that worships everything about yourself in order to take offense to that. It is mind-blowing to me. So
okay, I have quick correction there. So it wasn't KTVB that did that begging for money for Pride. It was Idaho Statesman, and that's the link I put for you there. Politics have sponsors abandoning Pride. It's time to step up, Boise. So so this is just beautiful. So all these companies are no longer going to donate to Pride. So you have the newspaper now begging people to step up and help Pride happen.
So,
and meanwhile, completely ignoring the event that you put on, you put money behind to make it free for everybody to go there.
Right.
Yeah, it's a propaganda ragtag.
Oh man, this is so disgraceful. I can't subscribe to you.
Oh, you're not going to go through the paywall, brother?
No.
I wouldn't either.
Man, it's heartbreaking to see okay, so I don't want to paint myself as a victim, right? But with associating with you and associating with the values that I preach, marriage, get married, stay married, have kids, love your country, support your fellow patriots. All of that has gotten me a lot of backlash, including my entire family getting doxxed and them trying to swat me along with Steve. Steve was swatted as well and harassed. They got hundreds of deliveries under my name from around the country. I was getting calls for literally days on end, back to back, from delivery drivers. And it's all because I'm trying to help rebuild the foundational importance of this country. And I guess most people just don't understand the amount of crap that we have to go through in order to do something like this. And this was part of something I mentioned in my speech as well. There was that when I brought up Hetero Fest to one of my family members, they're more liberal leaning, and she said, the thing that you've always been able to celebrate. In her mind, the victims are the people who advocate for pride, when in reality, what's happening is we're getting doxxed, we're getting swatted, we're getting threats. Any sponsor that sticks their neck out and wants to support is getting targeted. There was a Reddit post that I was following where they were making a comprehensive list of every food vendor that was there the day before, which one of the food vendors backed out for the second day. And I don't know. They didn't say it was because of threats. It was for something else. But in my heart, I can kind of see how the list that was made of the vendors, that they became aware of it and targeted them as well. So it sure seems odd how the general consensus is still that the people in Pride are the ones being targeted and harassed and all of this, when they're literally having newspapers back them up to say, hey, you Idahoans need to start stepping up and donating to Pride, and they completely ignore us. All the sponsors are targeted. All of the ambassadors are targeted. All of the people involved are constantly harassed, swatted, receiving death threats and everything like that. But it still doesn't stop us. We still move forward and go on. And maybe that's why the general consensus is that the Pride advocates are still, the victims in this situation. And we're just left to continue trying to build and to inspire support for this movement.
Yeah, I agree, man. So I don't have a victim mentality when it comes to my swatting. It just, it kind of invigorates me that I'm doing the right thing. And my message is powerful enough that people want to stop me, and they will go through anything, even an attempted murder, to try to stop me and what value I bring to my movement. So there are two ways you can go about in life, right? You can take the easy way, or you can take the road less traveled. And nothing good in life ever comes easy, ever. You have to work and you have to fight every single day for it. So I'm never going to use my swatting as a victimhood mentality, because that's the easy road. I'm going to use this as to my advantage, and I'm going to become more louder. I'm going to be more obnoxious to some people, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what I'm doing is right, and I'm going to push forward.
Yeah, that's well said. Ian Carroll wasn't actually able to make it there. He had some plane troubles, and he couldn't make it on time.
First flight had mechanical failure and it was delayed. And then by the time he landed, the second flight was already gone. But he'll be back definitely July 9th at Old State Saloon, presenting on AI and the rise of the robots.
Oh, that'll be fun and kind of scary.
Yeah, I watched the movie iRobot.
And you know what? We just watched that recently as well.
It's really interesting thinking about what jobs will be left after the humanoid robots come out.
I think my job will still be here, at least for a while. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to replace. Which I've kind of looked at as like, haha. I've bested the robots, at least for now. But then I think I might just be one. You see all these futuristic movies, and there's always like a surf class doing a lot of the manual work. And I feel like I'm going to be left in that kind of class. I'm one of those people that, can still make a living, but just barely. So I don't know. We'll see. That'll be a fun little wagon to go down though. And I mean, people really underestimate how far along AI is. I know that there's always talk about like Terminators and things of that sort having the singularity turn on us, but I mean, with just what's come out in the past like 2 years, I mean, podcasts in general are going to be hard to it's going to be hard to compete with. There's already AI influencers that are getting hundreds of thousands of followers. I mean, they surpassed my follower count. There's many accounts that have surpassed my follower count like that because they're AI influencers.
Yeah, but they're being followed by AI bots.
Ooh.
Maybe I need to maybe I need to change my profile to automated for just like a little bit so I can gain some followers real quick and then turn it off. I'm just kidding.
So I've seen that a couple times. What is it? So does that just mean it's an AI account?
I'm going to assume I would have to look into the details on that, but I think you can automate your account, and I believe that how you post is how that bot is going to take your account. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Yes and no.
It just basically profiles you and will use verbiage that you normally would use. Maybe Grok has some influence behind it. Not sure.
Oh, I got Lauren to wear the headdress.
Yay,
I'm gonna show a picture real quick because here, let's see. All right, you ready? This is the one commenting up on the screen. Can't really see it very well. Dang it.
There you go.
Yeah. She I got her to wear the headdress. So
I'm gonna call her Pocahontas.
Thanks, Lauren. Appreciate it. Hey, you guys, the support you can still support if you support family values. If you support God's design for sexuality, being fruitful, multiplying, in that nature. You can go to heteroawesome.org. You can go to theoldstatesaloon.com.
Yeah, you can go there in the store. There's a way to support there for sure.
Yeah.
Did we finish the Riley conversation? I can't even remember.
I mean, kind of. I don't know. We got sidetracked somehow. But I mean, so actually, I was targeted in a whole bunch of posts today in regards to that, and they wanted me to actually condemn him and to condemn the fest. And it's just one of those things where they're trying to associate the entire event with that one comment he made on his podcast. And I to anybody who does just a teeny tiny itsy bit of research, like, or watches the video, they could understand that, okay, he literally just said one off-color joke that, may insult a very small minority of people, and somehow that's used to slander the entire event. And you personally as a racist, I know for a fact, I met one of your bartenders who is of darker skin than I am, and he loves you and he loves working for you. We were talking to him for a while about it, and then actions will always speak louder than words. And every action I've seen from Mark has been positive. He's been inspired by God, and he embodies the values that he preaches. And that's why you're one of the men that I really respect, Mark. And I will do anything and everything to support what you do, because you're out there building instead of tearing down. And we need more men like that. And we need more support for men like that. So I'm trying to drum up some support here for you.
Thank you. So Jessica Davis, she's the one who interviewed me today, and I haven't seen it yet. It went out on Idaho News 6. But I hope she put a good edit together. But what I told her was, when she asked me if I was a racist, which is like ridiculous that we're even asking the question, but she wanted me to give an answer. So first I told her, look, I'm Christian, and when the Bible says about this, in Revelation, Jesus also talks about it too. But in Revelation, it talks about this vision of the end times, the end when everybody's gathered around the throne of God, and it's all tribes and nations. All tribes and nations will be represented at the throne. That doesn't mean everybody will be at the throne, but there'll be representatives from all tribes and nations, and the representatives present are going to be those people who confess the name of Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. So the point there is, no, I'm not racist, because my brothers and sisters in Christ are going to be from all tribes and nations. We're going to be building each other up for the glory of God and honoring his name in the end. And we will truly see each other just as equal brothers and sisters, which is the way that I see everybody today. As far as that goes, when you act like an idiot or act like a criminal or act like whatever, then of course there's going to be a different kind of moral judgment happening there. And it's not a moral judgment in that I hate you, but it's a moral judgment that I am not going to be accepting that sinful behavior. I can't get behind that and say, hey, this is moral and ethical, and I celebrate you and everything for being a criminal or a pedophile or whatever you think is okay to be. I'm not gonna do that.
Which is why we don't celebrate pride. We celebrate hetero awesomeness.
Exactly. Right. So no, I'm not a racist.
Wow, this is news to me.
Breaking news.
Mark, I mean, all you did was invite me into your home and treat me well and have me as a speaker and an ambassador for hetero awesomeness.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's because you're only half white or half Indian, Mo.
Oh yeah. That's why it was all the white, the white in me that he was appealing to.
He was talking to the white side of you, buddy. I'm just kidding.
I didn't even know you weren't white.
Yeah. It's a mystery. That's most. I mean, I've been called like an old white guy before. I've been called almost every name in the book.
Uncle Tonto is my favorite.
Uncle Tonto, yeah. I still love that. I need to like make a shirt or something with that.
Yes, man. We need to make tees. We do.
Yeah, we do. But Mark, in a weird way, I would like to say that the event was a success in different ways than we expected. But I think that there will be unexpected and good things that come from this. And to not lose faith. I know that there's a lot of pushback, there's a lot of negativity, and drumming up the support is a little bit more difficult than we initially thought. But I think that there's going to be a lot of good that comes from this, because you're building the path forward and inspiring a lot more people to do the right thing and support godly things instead of just passively accepting the pride movement and passively accepting life as it is right now, which to me feels a bit upside down when they're calling you racist when I'm the one being called Uncle Tonto, and from the left when there's I'm receiving attacks that as a Native American I should definitely understand how racist you are because I'm Native. Right. I had one of those comments today. They're like, you're Native, you should understand, have some respect. And I was like, that is actually racist. Like you're actually being racist right now by telling you that because I'm Native American, I have to believe certain things. You're literally judging me by my skin color. That's what racism is.
They're trying to stereotype you.
Oh, dude, it is something else to experience this day in and day out for years on end. And to go through all this stuff, like a lot of this stuff you kind of just toss to the side, but it is, at the end of the day, it's a weight that we carry on our shoulders. And it sure seems like it's worth it when you pick up your cross and carry it and take on the burdens that God has laid before you. And I think that we're going to come out the other side stronger and more capable and more understanding of how to inspire people. So.
Yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress this year. Massive cancellations of funding to Pride, cancellations of events altogether, like the Boise Pride kickoff event. It's so funny is that they're mocking us and saying you didn't have a lot of people on a cold weekend with rain. They're saying you didn't have a lot of people show up, and they literally had to cancel their kickoff event for Pride in Boise because of lack of interest in ticket sales. Which is just extremely pathetic. And so, but yeah, I had a question for you to consider, and it has escaped my mind. What were you just talking about before this?
Oh
no, I got it. So different topic if you're willing to talk about it. So, allegations of racism, which always come when people like feel it's convenient to do that. But I was thinking a lot about when I grew up and comedians and jokes, and from all people, like whether it's white comedian, black comedian, any other kind of person who's a comedian, and they used to do jokes about race all the time. You remember Saturday Night Live? I don't know. I mean, if I'm real older than you guys were, but it was like racial joke after racial joke after racial joke, and people would laugh and get along fine. And it's only like racist, but at least like back then it was racist if you're being derogatory towards a person trying to hurt with the intent to hurt that person with a comment. That's a racist thing. But to joke around about a generality about somebody or something with the intent of being funny was more readily accepted back then. And now people just get offended and run for the hills if they hear anything like that. And I don't know, like, the joke has to be really I don't know, it has to be not cross over a line, and everybody has a different line, I guess, I suppose, for these types of things. But it's so funny. I just think it's so hypocritical of all these people to jump to such like shock and like, I can't believe he said that, when they are literally walking through our event. Like we had a guy asking to come into the event so he can show his penis to everybody. That's not even a joke. Like we have people inside that event who were representatives of the Pride movement who were saying disgusting things and calling our main planner the C word, CUNT word, and just screaming it out loud in front of everybody and kids and everything. And then you have somebody get on stage and sing a song about, leading children to sex change and things like that. And it's like, okay, some guy whispering in the corner on his own podcast to people who have opted in to listen to him, making a joke that may or may not be a good joke or could be off color or racist, whatever you want to call it. That's the thing that we're going to say is the big deal. But all these things that these Pride people did, those are fine. Like, you went in with the intent to be disgusting and say it in front of children and do disgusting things in front of children, and you had to be escorted out of the event. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this guy who whispered over in the corner on some broadcast that he has that was in front of nobody at the event. It's ridiculous. But the main point, or my question, is mainly about, how do you feel about comedians and joking and race and things now?
Well, personally, so I grew up in a really small town, about 2,500 people, about 98% white, and it was commonplace to joke about racial stereotypes all the time. Like, I was the fastest one in the school, which isn't surprising, but I was also the darkest skin on the team.
The melanin. So, I love stereotypes.
So it was fun. We had a lot of fun back in high school and just growing up. It's one of my favorite I guess ways to joke with people. I used to have this guy who worked with me and who was Korean, and he had the funniest racial jokes, and I won't take offense to it strictly because it's about race, because if we are truly equals in each other's eyes, then you're allowed to joke with somebody about virtually anything. And so as far as like the racial jokes go, I mean, I think it was years ago when George Carlin had like the 7 words that you couldn't say on TV.
Oh yeah.
But he was expressing, that you have to judge people based on their intent. And in today's world, the way that the media runs, the way that the left works, is they will judge you in the worst possible interpretation of the smallest thing that they can find, and then label the entire event as that bad interpretation. So a lot of these attacks are done in bad faith, but like with my buddies currently, I don't have any problem saying racial jokes, and I say them quite often, and so do they. But it is what it is. I'm not worried about getting canceled if like any clip ever came out of me saying some racial joke, be it about white people or black people or Native Americans or Mexicans or, you know, what, like I call Canadians, you know, what's the name you have for them, Steve?
Snow Mexican.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's funny.
So it is, but it's also it's a racial joke, right? It's funny to call them snow Mexicans because it's you know, or icebacks because they, you know.
See, that one's bad because I'm referring to the actual country. So there's intent, Maurice. I'm just kidding.
I think
Absolutely.
it's funny.
There is a complete difference on intent. Like I make racial jokes like about everybody because I personally find stereotypes and all that stuff hilarious. Like for me, for example, I'm 41. I'm a year away from wearing white New Balance, and I love extra mayo. Hilarious, right?
You want me to ship you a cane?
Say that one more time.
You want me to ship you a cane? 41, man. That's
get out of here. But like the intent of that guy stepping up on that stage in front of children, there was malicious intent behind it. I never have malicious intent behind it because I think stereotypes are funny, and the majority of America does. So I think we've just grown soft as a country, and I think we just need to have fun again.
Sound about right?
Yes. And Boise's clean city, not because there's no black people or few black people. It's a clean city because there's not a whole lot of wokeism, but it is growing. And Boise is not as clean of a city as it used to be 7 years ago when I got here because the current mayor is woke and she has taken the city in a turn for the worse. And so we do have more problems and more evidence of crime and things like that as I drive through and look through the city. And I know what I'm looking at because I was a police officer for 15 years. So it's very clearly getting worse in Boise when it comes to those types of things. And that's because of the wokeism. And that that has nothing to do with color of skin or anything like that. That is an ideology. That is a disease of the brain, a whatever you want to call it, a mind virus, and it ravages societies, communities, cities, etc. And I just don't want to see it happening. Not in my city in Eagle, not in Boise, not anywhere in Idaho or our country for that matter. But there's so many places that are just overtaken already.
Yeah, and one of the most difficult parts about selling what we sell, right? Like I've received a lot of crap for posting my kids online and trying to show what a happy marriage and happy family looks like and what you can achieve as like the most fulfilling thing you can do with your life is get married and have kids. It is by far the most fulfilling thing. It's the only thing you take with you to heaven are your children. And we've kind of lost that idea especially when you have influencers like Andrew Tate or the Tate brothers and many other people saying that, you know, men aren't masculine enough, which is true. They're not masculine enough. They've lost a lot of their masculinity, but the way that they're selling masculinity is to sleep with a bunch of women, buy a bunch of fancy cars. And what that does is a net negative on society where you have a lot more unhappy women and you have a lot of children growing up in fatherless homes instead of having the foundational nature of a man and a woman raising children together that will have society prosper. It's proven time and time again. That's how society prospers, is you have a strong nuclear family. And it's tough to compete with, man. But I think that overall, either we're gonna I know I'm gonna keep promoting this until I die. As long as I'm standing, I'm still in the fight. So
yeah. Hey, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep going, but we're gonna call it, something like American Family Fest or something like that. And I think that will be something that more sponsors can get behind. It's still traditional family values. So whatever name we come up with, it'll be more like that. One thing I can understand is I think Heterosexual Awesomeness Month in a bar is a really cool thing. And that did amazingly well and does well. and is fun and everything. But when you do a fest out there for the public to come to, I don't think that that's necessarily the best name. I think that's one of the lessons taken away from this. And I think there was a combination of so many things that led to only about 700 people showing up through the weekend. But maybe that was one of them. And so if anybody has any ideas on the name of, like, I think we would change the 501c3 name from Heterosexual Awesomeness Inc. to whatever this name would be. And so
I really like American Family Fest. I like,
yeah, it sounds
that's
like
a really good name.
1950s, 1960s, like,
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go back
You
to
could, I mean, you could run a poll too, or have a contest where people like submit.
Yeah.
Maybe a giveaway or something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, give away an AR-15 and then.
Oh man, I'm gonna throw you like 6,000 names.
Only the people in the red states could even compete.
Oh yeah, AR-15s I think are illegal in my state now. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the gun laws anymore. Once they started passing all these ridiculous gun laws, I was like, well, I'm just not going to pay attention anymore because apparently it's just illegal to exercise your Second Amendment right.
Well, because you live on the reservation and you don't have to go by the state laws, right?
Yeah. That's why. Yeah.
Hey Mo, if you win it, you can send it to me. You can gift it to me. How about that?
Oh yeah. Okay, you take my land and my guns. Let's see how it is.
Hey, conquerings what the whiteys do best, right? But anyways, Iran did send missiles to Israel. It's been confirmed. So they broke the ceasefire.
That's fun. Man, well, we had peace for like 30 minutes.
Like 37 solid minutes.
I don't know if I believe it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It's just it's hard to know what to believe when you're shown things from the other side of the world.
For sure.
Yeah, well, especially with social media right now. I saw a bunch of fake posts that were, saying that they showed explosions and missiles and all this, and they're like, this just happened, and then it comes out a little bit later, like, oh, this was a post from years ago in Yemen, and you're like, oh, all right, well, glad I didn't share that. Sometimes you just need to take a step back and realize that, we don't have all the information at our fingertips as to what's going on. So, one of the main reasons why I advocate for what I advocate for is because there's a lot that you can control in your life and what affects you and what affects your kids. And there's always going to be outside stuff that you should advocate for. But if enough of us get our shit together, then I went almost this whole podcast without cursing, and then I just screwed it up.
Congrats, man. I haven't.
Oh my
yet.
gosh.
It's going to be okay.
So if enough of us get our stuff together, that doesn't sound as good. Then there's a lot we could fix as a country. I mean, we'll prosper. We could be prosperous and multiply and continue on the legacy that is the American experiment, and hopefully thrive as a nation as opposed to just normalizing the downfall of society, which I think is happening right now.
Hey, Maurice, who were you most excited about meeting? Because there was a lot of cool people there.
I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed meeting Sergio. He's like a kind of a mirror opposite of, well, he's Mexican, but he had the hair. We did the whole hair contest, and then Mark actually raced him, so he's not the exact opposite because I'm a little bit more athletic. But Mark was able to beat him in a race, which was impressive to see. It was completely fair. No incident. Like, there was a little bit of incidental contact, there where Mark brushed up against him. He may have pulled his leg down.
Robin's racing.
Yeah, but he did beat him in a race, so it was very good. That was cool to see, Mark. I enjoyed that.
That was fun.
But I was able to meet the Texas one. He was an ambassador as well. Lauren, shout out. The bearded vet, man, that guy is funny. And yeah, awesome. I tried to get everybody to wear my headdress. I don't know why, but I think it's fun. So, and they all did. They were all good sports. They're all just amazing people. I had a phenomenal weekend. It was a lot of fun, and I'm actually exhausted from it, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to move out here.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, you
sorry,
have to
sorry,
walk,
Steve. I'm
bro.
not going to be moving down to Texas, man.
That's fine. You
I've
have
gone
to get
down
out
there a
walk.
couple
That's all I
times.
care about.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, by the way, regarding the AR-15, one of my other business, my main business is a real estate business called Idaho Wild, which is one of the sponsors of the event. And for any conservative who moves into Idaho that uses our services to buy a house, you get an AR-15.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. What a perk. Welcome to Idaho. Here's a gun.
Yes. So if anybody's out there looking to relocate to Idaho, call us up, idahowild.com. We'll get you an AR-15 upon a successful move to Idaho. As long as you're conservative, we don't give anything away to liberals. We don't even work with liberals. So if you're liberal, don't call us.
Yeah, stupid commies.
Except we do volunteer work for liberals. We volunteer to list their home if they're moving out of Idaho. So we do the listing for free. There's no commission on the listing if they're moving out of Idaho. They use Idaho Wild. We'll list it for free. They can save whatever, 3% of their home's value.
Wow.
That is extremely based, and I absolutely love it.
I love that.
Oh, here we go. All right. Yeah, hit them up.
Yes. idahowild.com.
Yeah, what a perk, man. That's great. Well, if you guys do want to support Mark and the movement itself that is actually building and fighting back against this communist wokeism mind virus that we've been experiencing for the past decade at least, I know that my entire adult life has been just infested with this, and I'm glad to see that men around the country are starting to fight back, and not taking a backseat anymore. Because, like my friend Eddie says, evil will never retreat willingly. It must be beaten back. And you're not going to win a battle with complacency and taking the back seat.
Absolutely.
You actually have to take aggressive steps forward. And sometimes that means sticking your neck out when you know that they're going to come after you, because that is the tactic that they've gone with for a long time. It scares companies off. It scares sponsors off. And it scares a lot of people. So the best way to handle that is to make yourself stronger, is to get armed, be well trained with it, start working out, get stronger, fortify your mind, body, and soul, put your faith in Jesus. And I think that if enough of us do that, we can actually win this battle.
Amen.
Indeed.
It's only 3 times. 3.
Hey,
yeah. Love it. Yeah. So heteroawesome.org. What we want to do, if we end up doing a name change, it's going to stay the same, but the idea is to build a content creation team that is constantly producing really good content to push out. And then the ambassadors that we have basically augment the push out of that online, or the distribution of that content online, and get it so that more people see it. And so that's the really cool thing about being an ambassador of that corporation. And the ambassadors are people who usually have significant followings online and affiliates, etc. But that's the idea for why it's a 501c3, is that we are raising money to build that team of people. Mm-hmm. I don't get anything for this. In fact, I'm just donating a lot of my own money to it. And nor do the ambassadors get anything. This is basically to pay the team of people who will be out there researching and creating content, doing documentaries, etc., that will expose different woke people in leadership positions or woke agendas or whatever else, so that people can get the knowledge they need to make good decisions, when it comes to electing a leader or supporting somebody, or truly understand what's going on in the culture wars. So that's the idea. It's difficult to get funding for these types of, people who are producing content and content teams. So that's the main point of this. The other day I was on a radio show and talking about the fest, and we were $40,000 or $50,000. No, we were $50,000 short on the expenses for the fest at that point. And somebody who heard the radio show donated a couple hours later $10,500, and I've never met them before. And they were just like, yes, I want to support this locally in Boise. And that was like amazing. So there are we really appreciate all of the supporters that are out there, whether it's prayer support or financial support or helping spread content support or just giving a thumbs up to content or, giving some wise truth to these deceptive, disgusting, pride lover people who are being ruthless online and just kind of tuning them up a little bit with truth. We really appreciate all that support and very thankful for everybody who helped out with everything. And I want to give a shout out to the person who put the whole event together, Kana. I think you met her, Maurice, but she did an amazing job in putting the whole thing together. I haven't done that on a public thing yet. So thank you for letting me do that. Thank you, Kana, for all your hard work. But yeah, thank you for anybody who wants to support. Really appreciate it.
Man, I love that.
That's awesome.
It's just one of those things, man, that we'll be able to build some more momentum behind this. And, I'm going to continue being an ambassador for you and do everything I can to help spread your message because I truly believe in it. I think you're doing the right thing and I'm fully behind it, man.
Thank you.
It's amazing, man. I'll drop the website underneath my live stream link.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to say, Steve, before we get out of here?
Man, I don't know. I'm kind of itching to go back and see what's going on between Iran and Israel right now.
I'm probably just going to shut my phone off and not worry about it.
It's World War IV. We just won World War III. Now it's World War IV.
Hey, the distinction there was a peaceful ceasefire or whatever, but hey, not all. What do they say? All good things must end. Yeah. I posted a silly picture of myself on in the bunk bed. I know you saw it, Steve. It was on your post, but basically saying that we did it. We got the ceasefire peace deal, and everybody who was supporting Trump everybody was bragging, and I was like, oh, maybe I posted that a little bit too early. Chaos can erupt at any moment, so we'll just see how it goes.
This is what it is.
But, sometimes it's still fun to brag a little bit. I loved Trump's response earlier today that he put out about Iran and their response. I just found it hilarious. But
yeah, he's smacking everybody down. That's it. That's who he is, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, you guys, please go to heteroawesome.org, learn about the battle lines, learn about what we're trying to expose, and support the movement. Support Mark. He's a really good man. If you're ever in Eagle, Idaho, or Boise, Idaho, it's only a 30-minute drive to the Old State Saloon. He's got a great bar there, and he's building many phenomenal things. And Mark, I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time out to talk to us and tell you about, a little bit of the ups and downs of what happened this weekend and maybe arm people with how the media comes after you and how these leftists tend to attack, infiltrate, disrupt, destroy, or at least put on the perception that that they were able to destroy, and how they attack the sponsors, especially. I think that's a really, really important piece. And so hopefully, the ones that did sponsor, the food trucks that still stayed there, I do commend them because it takes a lot of guts to overcome that. And I hope to see more sponsors willing to stick their necks out and more food trucks and just Americans in general standing up for what's right as opposed to what's easy. Duty over retreat. So thank you guys for watching. Please share the stream. Follow Mark at Old State Mark and the Old State Saloon, or Hetero Awesome. I think, yeah, Hetero Awesome at a tag. He's got a couple different handles there. Give Steve a like. He's really close to breaking 400,000 followers, which is really, really cool. Yeah, he's like 800 away. So share the stream. Give a follow to old 41-year-old Steve there. He's he's getting.
Is that on X? 400,000 on X?
Yeah, on X.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Loves Ammo is my handle.
Yeah, Steve Loves Ammo. He's killing it out there, man. And I got halfway. When Steve and I started talking, I was like 12,000 followers behind him, and then they're like, "Oh, now I got to support the old man." So they
we're racing to 1 million, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets the senior discount on followers.
Oh,
so.
get out of here. You get the DEI vote.
All right, you guys. Give Steve a follow. You can follow me at Law Native Patriot. We'll be back on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless you all. God bless America. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
PPN, you're doing the right thing.
On the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
PPN on your bumper.
I'm Tom McDonald. This is the Patriot Prayers Network. Check it out. Lots of good TV. Lots of cool people. Tune in. Keep it locked.
Know where I stand. I'm a white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My patriots the craziest. They ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip. The same mistake and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them. There's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem. Smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms. Fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave to the grave. United States, we love the country that they've been corrupting. Go woke and go broker if you ain't awake. My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flag.